Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're wading into a really fascinating legal situation. It's got everything: a huge pop star, a multi-million-dollar LA mansion, a decorated veteran.
And even a Hollywood actor thrown in for good measure.
Exactly. It sounds like a movie plot, but this is a very real and, well, pretty complex legal fight that's heating up right now.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to look past the celebrity stuff. We want to unpack the legal and ethical questions that are really at the heart of this.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how what looks like a simple house sale could turn into such a legal firestorm.
It's a really tangled web. And I think what's key here is that it's not just about who gets the house, right?
Right.
It digs into some fundamental stuff. Contract law, mental competency, like when is someone truly able to make a massive decision, and also elder protection. It really makes you think about how the system handles vulnerability.
Okay, so let's rewind. Where did this all start?
It kicked off back in 2020.
2020.
Right.
Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, they agreed to buy this pretty incredible LA home for $15 million.
$15 million, yeah. And the seller was Carl Westcott. He's 85, a decorated Army vet, and actually founded a successful communications company.
Okay.
And right there, that's where the main issue pops up immediately. Westcott's whole case is built on this claim. He says when he signed that agreement, he was completely out of it.
Out of it how?
On heavy pain meds. He'd just had major back surgery, apparently taking strong opioids. So his argument is, legally, he wasn't mentally competent. He didn't have the capacity to understand what he was signing.
Wow. Okay. And when we talk about mental competency in contracts,
Yeah.
what does that usually mean in court? Is just being on medication enough?
Well, it's a bit tricky. Courts look for contractual capacity. Basically, did the person truly understand the deal and its consequences? Just feeling unwell or being on meds isn't automatically enough. You generally need pretty solid evidence showing the medication or condition significantly impaired their understanding at that exact moment. It's quite a high bar to clear.
Got it. And then what happened? Did he realize quickly?
Apparently, yes. Just a week later, Westcott tried to back out. He sent a letter saying, essentially, I wasn't myself, stop the sale.
Only a week later.
Yeah. But according to the lawsuit, Perry's team basically said, no deal's a deal, and refused to stop things.
And that refusal is what sparked this whole lawsuit, which is still going now, 5 years later. He's seeking damages.
Exactly. 5 years on, and he's suing for $6 million in damages, claiming they pushed ahead when they shouldn't have.
So, from Westcott's perspective, he just had no real clue what he was agreeing to because of the opioids.
That's the core of it. His lawyers argue Perry's team moved way too fast, pushing the deal through while he was, medically vulnerable.
Right.
They're basically alleging that Perry's representatives took advantage of an elderly man who wasn't in a fit state to make huge decisions. And that angle, the vulnerability claim, has definitely gotten a lot of public attention.
Okay, now let's bring in the twist. The mansion isn't empty, is it?
No, it's not. And this is where it gets even more Hollywood. Actor Chris Pratt and his wife, Katherine Schwarzenegger, are currently renting the place.
Okay, wait. How does Chris Pratt renting the house possibly matter in a contract dispute between Perry and Westcott? That seems totally random.
It does seem random, but Westcott's legal team sees it differently. They think Pratt could actually be a key figure.
How so?
Because he's been living there. His perspective on the property's condition, maybe
Things he's observed, potentially even conversations or interactions related to the house after the initial sale attempt. If the court decides his testimony is relevant material to the case, correct. He's not in any legal trouble here. He's just sort of caught in the middle because he happens to be renting the disputed property. An awkward spot to be in, I imagine.
No kidding. Okay, so let's flip this. What's Katy Perry's side saying? They must have a counter-argument.
They do, and they haven't just defended, they've countersued.
Okay.
Their position is pretty straightforward. Westcott signed the contract willingly. They argue he understood what he was doing, and then later, he simply got cold feet.
So, buyer's remorse, essentially.
Exactly. They're framing it as buyer's remorse, which legally is very different from lacking mental capacity. Changing your mind isn't a valid reason to void a contract.
Right.
Perry's team insists the deal was totally fair, above board, legally sound. They argue she did nothing wrong and is just trying to move into the house she legally bought. They want the contract enforced.
And how's this playing out in, like, public perception? Are people siding with Westcott?
It seems really divided. You definitely see the David versus Goliath narrative, the elderly veteran against the wealthy pop star and her legal team. But others see it differently, maybe as just a sad misunderstanding that's gotten blown out of proportion, maybe fueled by the media attention. It's complex.
One thing that seems odd is the timing. The sale was agreed in 2020. Why is this trial only really gaining steam now, in 2025? That's 5 years.
Yeah, that's a long time for a property dispute.
So why the big surge in attention now?
Honestly, it seems pretty directly linked to the Chris Pratt angle surfacing. Once his name got attached, even just as a tenant who might testify, it made the story much, juicier for media outlets.
Okay, that makes sense. High-profile name gets involved, suddenly everyone's interested again.
Exactly. It put it back in the headlines in a big way. And yes, just to confirm, the trial itself is actually underway now. Things are moving.
Beyond the celebrities, though, what are the bigger issues this case touches on? You mentioned elder protection earlier.
Yeah, I think that's crucial. This really highlights concerns about protecting elderly homeowners. It forces us to ask, how do courts figure out someone's mental state during a complex transaction like selling a home? Is just being on medication, even strong medication, enough to void a major contract? As we said, the bar is usually high, needing proof it directly impaired understanding. And it raises that broader societal question. Do we need stronger, more specific safeguards for seniors in these big real estate deals, given potential vulnerabilities?
And Westcott himself, is he saying this is about more than just the money or the house for him?
He is, or at least that's the framing. He claims he's fighting this partly to prevent similar things happening to others. He talks about the huge stress it's caused him, his health, and frames it as being about dignity, his rights, and, basic justice. His family is apparently right there with him, backing him up fully.
Meanwhile, Katy Perry hasn't said much publicly.
No, she's been pretty quiet publicly on this. But behind the scenes, her legal team is definitely fighting hard. I mean, there's $6 million in potential damages at stake for her side, too, if they lose the countersuit or have to pay Westcott.
And Chris Pratt, just hoping to stay out of the spotlight on this one.
Reportedly, yes. He apparently wants to keep a low profile. But look, if he gets subpoenaed by the court...
He doesn't really have a choice.
Exactly. He might have to get involved whether he likes it or not, making him sort of an involuntary character in this whole drama.
So wrapping this up, the core conflict really is this aging veteran claiming vulnerability versus a global superstar insisting on a valid contract.
Pretty much. And caught in the middle are these fundamental legal ideas. Contractual capacity, elder protection, what constitutes undue influence.
And the outcome could have ripples, couldn't it? Beyond just Perry and Westcott.
Oh, definitely. A verdict here could potentially influence how similar real estate deals are handled, maybe impact standards for elder protection laws, or at least how courts interpret capacity when someone's under medical care.
It really leaves you thinking.
Yeah, it poses a tough question for all of us, really. What's our collective responsibility to make sure major agreements are made by people who are genuinely, of sound mind? Especially when someone might be vulnerable. And how does the legal system balance sticking to the contract with protecting individuals in those nuanced, maybe ethically gray situations? It's not easy.
It certainly isn't. And this whole legal tangle is clearly far from resolved.
Not all.
And if Chris Pratt does end up testifying, well, that could really be the moment. Things shift dramatically in this already complicated case. We'll have to wait and see.